Okay, Shalom. Shalom. Kwame Yasha Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakaka Wadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to take the water toward the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawach. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And was going off into the 401ks. I had seen an article. I couldn't find it, but I thought about it, and I was able to just Google it. It says a record number of Americans are pulling funds from their 401k plans to cover everyday living expenses and emergencies, with hardship withdrawals reaching historic highs of around 6% of participants. While providing short-term relief, these early cash outs trigger taxes and steep penalties. Okay, and it's really no difference than the penalties they already getting from credit cards anyway, because they running through the credit cards. Just trying to pay a little interest on this one, pay a little interest on that one, flip on this one, see what they can do with that one, and now it's just at a point where okay, we got to just jump off into this money that we had saved up for the little nest egg, in which they might as well go ahead and start grabbing that shit, because the way Esau is moving, and with this digital shit they got going on, those funds are going to either be snatched from you, or they're going to use the MOTB, the mark of the beauty and the beast, as a leverage to make you get that shit to keep these funds that you may have in a 401k. So the apostle was talking about, hey, if you got some cash, man, put that shit into some assets. You might as well buy some shit. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting on all this money in these 401ks thinking that this place got a future. America don't have no future, man. Okay, it says the rising trend in withdrawals driven by inflation and economic strain using 401k accounts as emergency funds has spiked to roughly triple the pre-pandemic average. Many workers are exhausting their nest eggs to avoid evictions, foreclosures, or to pay off high interest credit card debt. So it's like it's a flip, and that's in on Reddit. I'm on that particular article. So it's a few different sources in here. I can't remember the one that I seen, but it just hit me and by the Spirit, and I thought about it, and I just Googled it, because I couldn't think of where I saw the story at to begin with. But this makes sense though. It says the cost of early withdrawal, unless you have reached age 59 and a half, pulling money out of your 401k triggers immediate consequences. And that's in Investopedia. Taxes. The withdrawn amount is treated as ordinary income and fully taxable. Penalties. Early withdrawals typically incur a 10% federal penalty. Loss growth. You lose the compound interest and investment gains the money would have generated over the decades, and that's in Reddit as well. But man, people don't care, because people need their shit now, and you might as well get it, because again, this shit is going nowhere. And I just wanted to go this quick scripture. This is not going to even be a real long lesson of my scripture that I bring out pretty much overall daily. I love this scripture because when I see stuff like this, this is Esau. And it's Jake too. It's people that's just in general, but mainly this is Esau that's doing this. The so-called white man. He's the one that's shuffling credit cards and trying to keep up with the car payment, keep up with the mortgage, keep up with the insurance, keep up with the kids' soccer class, keep up with the kids, whatever they into and all this other shit. Ecclesiasticus 25:7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and a 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And see, we're witnessing the fall of our enemy, Esau, Edom, the so-called white race, because guess what? They've been on top forever. And they've been on top and been prideful being on top, and basically saying and thinking that they will never fall, and they're actually falling. And they're not coming back. Okay, so it says, alternatives to cashing out. Before taking a taxable distribution, final experts recommend looking into other options to avoid permanent damage to your retirement security. What's retirement security? Like, which one of you niggas that's in your 30s or 40s right now, or even your 50s right now, that's thinking that you're going to be able to, that America's going to last till your ass turns 65, 72, or whatever they have the new age at. What do you think it's going to be like? The gas prices are up, the food prices are up, the rent prices are up, everything is going up because of this shit, especially with Trump and the Strait of Hormuz being closed. Everything is going up, so people don't have no choice, man. And Esau, he's banking on you getting more credit cards. I'm not saying that you can't get one, and if you're going to get one, you should use it wisely, because you can't use one wisely, to handle little certain shit. You know what I'm saying? And because it's going to come to a point where everybody's going to fucking owe. Everybody owe in America anyway. When it comes to the federal, with the national debt, shit, all the Americans, hell, your ass owe until your ass die to these bankers, man. So you might as well get what you're going to get anyway. But you might as well definitely get your money that you actually work for. Okay, but it says 401k loan. How the fuck is it a loan and it's my money? Many plans allow you to borrow up to 50% of your vested balance up to a maximum of $50,000 while you must pay interest. See? And this is Esau. This and these are the small hats. These are small hat equations here. Small hat, those Israelis, they're the top bankers. They got this shit all lined up for your ass to continually stay in debt. You're not getting out of this shit. This is just more debt for you. It says it goes back into your own account and you avoid the immediate tax and penalty as long as it is repaid. Hardship exceptions. In certain cases, such as severe medical expenses, buying a primary residence, or preventing eviction, you may qualify for an allowable hardship withdrawal, though taxes and the 10% penalty still generally apply. So they still gonna charge your ass for your own money. Disaster relief. Recent legislation allows for penalty-free withdrawals up to $1,000 for unexpected personal emergencies once every 3 years, with an option to repay the funds. So this used to be, something that was okay. I guess back in the days, if you were somebody that, that was before I came into this truth. You had a 401k, decent job with a 401k that matched you a little bit. I remember having a job back in the days. They don't do it no more, I don't think. But I had a job that matched a dollar on a dollar, like 100%, 100%. I'm like, okay, bet. And I was like one of the only people that was doing this shit. So I was like, oh, y'all doing that shit? I'm like, okay, bet. Well, shit, I had them start taking, pretty much a pretty large sum of my check out. I'm like, yo, y'all matching it? I forgot how much I was having them take out, but I'm like, shit, you match, I'm putting $200 towards it, and you putting $200 towards it. I'm putting 250, you putting towards 250. That's a lot of fucking money. But see, they don't really do stuff like that no more. That was kind of like back when they was trying to attract people to actually do it. And by the time I left that job, I can remember just cashing that shit out anyway, and I had a nice little lump sum. You know what I'm saying? When I left that particular job. And that was way back in the days. I wasn't thinking about really too much like that shit. I was like younger. Shit, I ended up, you know, traveling off that shit and doing, shit that young niggas do type of deal, you know what I'm saying? Which I didn't give a fuck anyway, because Jake don't have no future as far as no retirement in this place, man. Like this man's system is fucked all up. And anybody that's putting into it, that's why the scriptures talks about let me get this one real quick. Micah 2:10 says, "Come out of her," because this is not our rest, man. We don't have no business putting into this place like that. Don't get me wrong, we're not to be doofy, but this place is through. There's no future to America, man, to be doing stuff like that. We live, you know what I'm saying. We, daily bread wise, help out the brethren, help out the ministry, keep brothers afloat until the Lord make the move that we need him to make, until we get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's what our money kind of should be going towards, in a sense. Don't get me wrong, we pay our bills, daily bread. We're not chilling like, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna put away this amount of money and then 20 years from now we're gonna do this, 10 years from now I'm gonna do this, 5 years from now I'm gonna do this, because we're hoping that this shit don't even last 2 years or a year. We're praying this shit go ahead and end in the next 3 months or month or this week. Shit, fuck it. So this is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. And so, what do you think all these people that's sitting on this little change that they got? Because you got I can say like my father's age. You know I know my neighbors next door. They're older. They retired. You know what I'm saying? Been living off their retirement and got some pretty decent money put away. You know what I'm saying? As far as like in their savings and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? Probably who knows how much. A couple of hundred K, million, maybe whatever. But to keep that money, and we talking about something as low as just fucking $300 probably with, because Jake, when shit get crazy and the food is scarce and the water is scarce and when people need to survive, they're gonna do anything that they can to stay alive, man. And a lot of these people, to keep that money that they've always had in those bank accounts that they've been worshiping for so long, they're gonna take that microchip, that mark of the beauty and the beast, man. This is what Esau is banking on. He's banking on you trying to stay in this society and keep that money that you have, that he has, as digital numbers, of course, because it's not like you have it as real assets. It's not like you have it in your possession, as far as like gold or silver or some type of source like that. This he has it where stroke of a computer key, he adds a zero, and now you're a thousandaire, or stroke of a couple of zeros, and now you're a millionaire. That's how Esau gets down. It's all, and he can just stroke it back, and zero your shit out, man. So Revelation 13:16, it says he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So imagine people that's doing stuff like this right here. If they're going into their 401ks already, and Esau said, well, hey, we got a way for you. We can give you some relief, make things comparable for you. You don't have to be doing all that. Just come and get this computer chip. Bring the children, and we're going to set you up with a universal basic income. And you're not going to have to work anymore, pretty much, because AI is taking over everything anyway. You'll have a car. We'll give you a place in a 15-minute city, and you just do your thing from there, and we'll recharge your little funds every month. No different than, kind of like, what they're doing with food stamps already, other than it being digital within your ass with no rollover. There's not going to be no savings. That's why they say you'll, what they say, you'll own nothing and be happy. You're just going to be just in the world, just, he wants you to have your TV, your little VR glasses. You'll be able to go into the refrigerator and crack open a can of new Mountain Dew or some shit, or you know what I'm saying. Like you stay at home, stay within your zone, and we'll keep you afloat. And if you get out of hand, we'll turn your shit off. But as long as you stay within your boundaries and do what you're supposed to do as a good citizen, then you'll be able to eat and drink, and that's it. So this is what this shit is all leading up to, man. So it says what does they have? We don't have to go into any more of that. Let's ask another question though. I'm just gonna put in, what about credit cards? Because people credit cards are maxed out if they're going to their 401k. So this is pretty much like Google AI. No, that's not what I meant right there. They trying to. I know what a credit card is. Let me just put in, are people using credit cards to survive? It says yes, a growing number of people are using credit cards as a primary financial lifeline to cover basic necessities like groceries, rent, and utilities. Recent data from 2026 indicates that over 50% of American adults now rely on credit cards to bridge the gap between their income and rising living costs. That's crazy work there. Over 50%. That's half of the Americans. Essential spending. 53% of consumers currently carry balances specifically to cover the cost of essentials. Financial strain. 46% of credit card holders have maxed out at least one card. So they maxing these cards out. Nearly 30% debt levels. Nearly 30% of Americans are carrying balances of $10,000 or more. God damn, that's a lot of bread. Generational impact. Millennials, 66%, and Gen Z, 56%, report the highest levels of reliance on credit to make ends meet. And that's because, they're not taught anything about no funding or no money like that. You know what I'm saying? They see shit on social media. It's constant advertisements coming through. They know your data. They know what you're looking at. And Esau done zeroed in on your thoughts when it comes to collecting your data. As far as like you searching for some shoes, or you might mention something, your damn microphone on your phone, pick it up, and it gets to advertising it to you. And then next thing you know, somebody's trying to offer you a deal. And people of certain age groups, they're not really, they don't have that. That's why the scripture talks about not acting hastily, and praying and leaning not to your own understanding, but trust on Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, because you want to trust in the Lord and ask the Lord, about certain things before you make moves, and it helps you to the Lord. He'll show you, because let's get it on Proverbs 3. Let me start at verse 5 here. It says, "Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path." See? In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. So anything that's coming through and you trying to do it, instead of making a rash move or a hasty move, you ask the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And just wait. You know, because you don't need to have everything that you see, and that's pretty much an American way. The American way is, I want that, I see that, I want that. That's a fleshly, carnal thing. Verse 7, it says, "Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear Yahweh, and depart from evil." Right? So you want to acknowledge the Lord in all your ways. But a lot of people don't do that. They see what they want. I like that watch. That's just like here. Um, it's a place called Somerset Collection. Kind of like an upscale mall. Haven't been there in years. I used to work there way back in the days. But they got a Swatch store. And I didn't even know that Swatch was still in business. And I can remember way back when I was a kid being big-eyed and bought a damn Swatch beeper watch. That was way back when beepers, they had a watch that would go on your arm that was a damn beeper. That was dope though. I wish I still had the damn watch. I know it would be worth some money today. But I spent good money back then. This was like back in the 90s. And the store was overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? They had people out there waiting in line, and it was crowded, and they had to disperse. They was spraying pepper spray on the people. And this was a younger crowd. They had to get rid of them people. They was out there fighting and shit. The damn police officers. It was just crazy, because that's something that's typically wouldn't go down in an area like that, because that is Edomiteville. It's a very upscale area. It's a very upscale mall. And they was like, nah, you niggas standing out here waiting like this. Like, 100, they was waiting out there, shit, probably about 1,000 or so people waiting on the damn doors to open. And they dispersed their asses. But that was just people that kind of got that mindset of, I gotta have this first, and it wasn't even, it's like a damn pocket watch too. Like, niggas ain't using no motherfucking pocket watches, you know what I'm saying? The clock is on your phone. Shit, I'm wearing no damn watch on my arm when I can look at this damn phone and see what time it is. Like, come on, bro. So, but it's so overall, it was a style piece that they wanted. But anyway, as you can see, yeah, things is getting nasty. It says household debt balances rise slightly as delinquency transactions rates hold. There's a lot going on, man. Hey, people losing right now, man. They not doing so well. Yeah, they got pros and cons on it. It says the pros on it: convenience and ability to pay over time. Risk, or the cons: overspending can lead to rapid debt accumulation. Security, fraud protection is stronger than debit cards. vulnerable to identity theft and fraudulent charges. Is the cons though. Extras, it says rewards like cashback, points, and travel miles. And the cons is high fees, including annual, late, and balance transfer fees. And that's where they get you at. Because I had credit cards back in the days when I was younger. And I can remember I had this one that I paid off. And I was just like, shit, man. Once I pay this shit off, man, I'm never getting one of these bitches again. And I never did. But it was like some shit. Motherfuckers was, and matter of fact, I just went through some shit. Which I'm glad the shit is over. You know what I'm saying? Because, now I'm like completely debt free. Don't owe not no fucking body now. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm praying that to Yahweh Shem Shai that I would never have to go off into doing. Like fuck a damn credit card, or that's something that I haven't been on for years and years and years. Like once I paid them shits off, because the shit they have you going through, and those it's kind of like the way when you start to see your money, if you paying $100 towards a credit card and only like 30 of your fucking dollars is really going towards the actual debt of it, you start to be like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying? You're like, where the fuck did that other $70 go? Or I'm not saying that's the exact thing, but that's the whole thing with what it says right here when it says high fees, including annual, late, or balance transfer fees. So when you get off into that, and you get that, that 29% rate, that default rate, you go to 29%. Say you giving up $100 to pay towards something, and you thinking that you're 100, especially when you're younger, you're like a kid, you first getting one damn credit card, and you thinking like, well, damn, I paid $100, but you're not realizing that only really 60 of it is going towards the payment. The other, 30 or 40 is going towards, late fees and interest and shit like that. So it's kind of it's a so Esau he has it mapped out to fuck you over. But just wanted to just point out the fact that people are not doing well. Esau kingdom is fading and falling, and it's only a matter of time before this place blow, man. It's not this place is not, it can't last. It's too far gone. It cannot last, man, with this kind of thing going on. When people are going into their 401ks and drink, and like I said again, I mean, shit, with the timestamp that we see, just me speaking as a man, we don't want to get out here and get reckless and just, get out here just blowing everything that you have. We just pay our bills, keep a roof over our head to the best of our ability. Just do what the Lord told us to do, man. He's the one that take care of us. Keep us healthy, keep a roof over our head, keep us with a car, whatever our transportation is, shoes, socks, all that stuff, whatever. Daily bread, that's our main thing, is to keep afloat like that, not to get out here and get all reckless, get to spending all crazy and shit like that if we don't have to, and just do the daily bread, daily thing. See, it's these carnal niggas, it's these 2/3 niggas, it's these Americans that they're constantly consuming. It's just shit that they don't have to have, but they have to have it because they don't have no self-control. They didn't grow up with no, Jake don't really grow up with no piggy banks. You know what I'm saying? Jake don't really grow up. I remember when, we was growing up, you had what they would call an allowance. And every week you'll get, whatever amount your parents would give you. And, it was basically explained to you, okay, so say for instance you get $5 a week, you like fucking 10, 12, whatever, $5 a week, and that was your allowance. You done your chores. It taught you how to do some work. You know what I'm saying? Do some responsible shit. And, you was taught basically, okay, well, be wise with the $5 a week. Be wise with your money, because $5 a week, that's going to end up being how much? $20 a month. So once you spend, maybe $1 or $2 out of it, you want to put something to the side. You want to keep $3 of it. You don't want to just blow all of it. You put your money away, you save it up, and then, oh shit,